If you're raising livestock, you ought to be striving to make money with your operation. And you can do it. It doesn't matter if you're running 10 cows or you're running 1,000 of them. You can make money. And the same principles apply. So let's do this thing. Let's go inside and crunch some math. We made our way back inside here, so let's jump right into this. I kind of struggled with what to show everybody today because these markets are just so darn hot right now. It's just kind of hard not to make money. But we'll look at the basics and at these surprising returns. So you can find these livestock market reports. Your state ag department ought to have a web page, and off of those would be a link to the USDA reports for the larger sale barns, stockyards in your area. My home state is Missouri, so I'm going to use that. We go to market news if you're on Missouri. And I want to look at the Joplin Regional Stockyards weighted average report. This is this week's sale. And you want to use the most recent report to make your marketing decisions on. Today is October the 18th. This sale in Joplin was October the 13th. Their feeder calf sale, they had about 8,400 head on that day. I like Joplin one because they are my local sale barn here, but also because of the volume. They have good market reports, good tested weight classes kind of throughout. I like using these steers, medium and large 1 to 2s. The 1 to 2s, they are the beef type cattle, and there's just more of them. As you can see, there's a lot of those that are tested here, and most likely if you are selling beef type cattle, your cattle will fall in here. But what we're looking at is relationship to different weight class, the price, not necessarily the price of the individual animal. So we want to see how the different weight classes compare. I'm a backgrounder, stocker operator at heart. You know, I run very small operation, but you can use these same principles. It doesn't matter. You know, if you're selling 1 head or 1,000 head, the same math applies here. So let's take a look. Let's jump into numbers here. So let's look at the 429 pounders, and we're going to jump about 100 pounds per weight class here. So 429, we'll go to these 524s, these 634s, where we go from there, 7s to 8s. So just remember, this is where it's coming from. So 429, and get that out of our way here, the 436.29 right there. So just remember that number. We're going to carry that over here in just a second. 429, 436.29. Boom, there we go. Took the liberty of preloading those for us into our handy dandy calculator here. And you can see here the buy weight right here at 429 equals 436.29, and the rest of these carry over as well. So what this does, I enter these in, and this auto-populates all this and all of this. So for just simple purposes, so we all stay together on the same page here, what I'm doing here is I'm looking at if I sold a weight class. In this case, I'm selling these 821 pounders here and here. And if I sold those at the price that was on the USDA report, and I'm buying back, so I'm comparing the difference here. So the relationship, if I sold an 821 pounder and I bought back a 715 pounder, what is the price? That's the price off the USDA report. That's just the price out. So if I have 1 head, what's it cost? A 715 pounder 1 head costs $2,686.97. The weight difference between 821 pounds and 715 pounds is $106. There's $342.60 in that spread. So that's looking at it from if I sold this and I bought this, how much money is left over. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of the
of the table here, my return on gain, my cost of gain, my profit or loss after my expenses, and my return on investment. But what is just crazy, it just blows my mind, and everybody says this is too good to be true. It won't last. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. That's why I never predict the future. I make marketing decisions based on what the market is this week. And right now, today, or not today, but on Monday anyways, if you would have sold in Joplin an 821 pound animal and you would have replaced that, you would have bought back a 429 pound animal, same type of animal, the same quality of animal. If you would have sold that, bought that, the price difference between your sell and what you replaced it with was a whopping $1,157.89. That is insane. Your return on gain on that is $2.95. The cost to gain is $294. So that cost to gain, I built that on a 75-cent cost of gain. Right now, these right here, you would have been able to, at least in my part of the world here, we had adequate grass, so you had some cheap gain on those, and the price of grains, the price of feed right now is also down. So after you figure all of that, your profit that you would have put in your pocket per head, per every animal that you made that trade on, would have been $863.89. So as long as your return on gain is less than your cost of gain, so your return on gain is less than your cost of gain, you are going to make money. Remember, the cost of gain we used here was 75 cents. So $2.95 is definitely greater than 75 cents. So as long as that return on gain, I say it again because it's important. You got to understand how these relationships work. And do some Googling on this, kind of get your mind wrapped around what is return on gain? What is cost of gain? It's easy math, guys. It's easy to figure out. It's easy to use. And even if you're a couple pennies off, you still got to have a basic estimate here. So as long as that return on gain is less than your cost of gain, you are going to make money. So, feed's cheap, grass is green, we're getting into fall, those costs and into winter, that cost of gain is going to start creeping up a little bit because we're going to have hay cost in there and feed cost and just energy. It takes more energy, it takes more feed just for that animal to maintain its body condition, just its everyday living. It takes more just to survive. So that cost is going to creep up a little bit. So things to think about, the return on gain right here. That the way I figure that, it's the price difference of what I sold and what I replaced it with. And then I divide that number by the weight difference of the sell versus the replacement. That gives me that return on gain price. So amazing numbers, $863.89 paid out in your pocket. Take it to the bank. You sold one, you replaced it, you still have the same number of animals on 392 pounds, $863.89. I would do that all day long if I could. Just absolutely amazing. And I promise you, even if the market decides to take a big old dump here in the next couple weeks, there is somewhere in the life cycle, in the lifetime, if you hold this 392 pound animal, there is somewhere in there where you will make a profitable trade. You're generating cash flow. And that's something really to think about here too. Another way to wrap your mind around it. It's a relationship. You're generating cash flow, but somewhere between 392 pounds and 800, 900, wherever you want to jump off at, somewhere between here and here, you will have the opportunity to make a profitable trade. Guarantee it. That is a fact, unless the world just completely collapses on you, in which case we got a lot more things to worry about than a pen full of feeder calves. So hope this is helpful, and I hope this makes sense. Let me know in the comments what you think. And till next time, I will catch you then, and keep on buying them. Look at your market reports from your local area and make those trades, make your marketing decisions based on actual numbers and what's going on in the world. Something else to keep a watch on today, like I said, is October the 18th. It's a Saturday. Yesterday, Friday the 17th, USDA, the federal government made some waves, and they're made some news that kind of affect cattle markets, and that could put a ripple through those markets next week as well. But again, there's always a profitable trade somewhere if you know where it's at. So thank you all. If you got questions, I'll try to answer. I don't know everything. I don't even pretend to know everything. This is just the world according to me. And that's probably not always right. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And this is just what I do. But these numbers, they don't lie. So talk to you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe. Please do all those things. It helps tremendously. And we'll catch you next time. Adios. Bye-bye.